Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Marcella Flowers and today I'm going to be reviewing the Urban Decay by Game of Thrones collection. I only have a few items from the collection, the ones that I really wanted, mostly the Daenerys related ones because I thought it would be fitting. I'm not in the full cosplay, obviously I'm just in like a t-shirt because I don't want to get makeup on that. I am going to do a couple of covers in the full cosplay, so keep an eye out for that. So I have the palette, the eyeshadow palette, the highlighting palette, I have the eye pencil in Winterfell Snow, and then I have the red lipstick in Daenerys Targaryen, and then I have the cheek stain in Dracarys. While I review the makeup and do a little look for you, I am going to be reviewing the season 8 and giving my overall thoughts on the season, on the show, what I liked, what I didn't like. If you follow me on Instagram, you know exactly how I feel because I will not stop posting memes and opinions to my story. So if you want to enjoy that, you can follow me on Instagram. And a special thanks to my boyfriend's sister Julia for braiding this for me. I'm so terrible at braiding, and of course it is really hard to do on yourself on a wig when you're already bad at braiding. So if you don't mind, I'm going to do a little tour for you, show you the amazing work she did. I did cut the bangs right here because Daenerys's bangs usually stop right about here, but besides that, it is just fresh out the box. And I will probably be selling it once I'm done making videos and playing with it, so look out on my Depop for when this goes up. Okay, so first I need to take off my current makeup because we have a lot of face makeup, so I think I'm just going to redo everything. So I'm not sure at what stage you're supposed to use the lip and cheek stain. I don't see any. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on after my foundation. I hope that is right. If not, yell at me in the comments. So I'm going to go ahead and prime my face with the NYX Angel Veil, if you're interested. And then I'm using the Too Faced Do You in Vanilla. It is a little too dark for me, but I do lighten it up with concealer. I'm just trying to get my use out of it. So in between all of this, I'm going to give my thoughts on the season in general, what I loved about season 8 and what I didn't like. So first I'll start off with the good things. The cinematography was amazing. I think all of the shots with Daenerys and Drogon were beautiful, like the shot where she executes Varys and he comes up behind her, especially the finale where the wings are behind her, looks amazing. I thought the Battle of Winterfell was beautiful. I definitely loved the shots with Rhaegal and Drogon like against the sky, Melisandre and the fire. I loved all of those like beautiful shots. They really went all out with the cinematography. Not so much with the dialogue. It definitely shows the shift from book heavy to show heavy. They're really just trying to entertain you at this point. They're not really looking to stick to the lore. They're just trying to get you to watch and be shocked, which they got, I guess. guess. Episode 1 entirely, with all of the parallels to episode 1 from the first season ever of Game of Thrones, where King Robert comes to visit. I thought that was super cool. All the shots with Daenerys and the Unsullied marching into Winterfell, like her white outfit, it was so beautifully shot. And I thought the interactions between Sansa and Daenerys were cool. I really would have better liked to see them working together, just because I know what they've been through, and they're just so similar in different ways. I really wanted them to get along and rule. Like, she would rule in the north, and then Daenerys could have the south, and like Yara from the Iron Islands, she really liked Daenerys, and I really liked that they got along. Like, my favorite part of season 7 was when Olenna and Ilaria and Yara were all with Daenerys on Dragonstone, like, getting ready. Ugh, I hated how quickly they just, like, gave us that little taste of Daenerys and her power in Westeros and then just took it right away. It was just so unceremonious, like most of season 8, but I digress. The music was also amazing. I thought the Night King song and King's Road, Jenny of Oldstone, oh, it was so beautiful. I loved that. Of course, the Rains of Castamere when Cersei and Jaime die was very nice as always. I think most of all, I loved the dragons. Obviously, they really went all out with Drogon and the details. Like, it was really long and unnecessary, but I did love the shot in the finale when Jon is walking up to the fallen Red Keep and Drogon comes out of the ash snow that's falling down. It's really beautiful and detailed, and I love it. But it is clear that that is what they spent their budget on, and not writing. Felt a little over the top when you compare it to the rest of the season. And of course, I have to mention the acting. Oh my god. Sophie Turner, I have always adored as Sansa, but she really brought it this season. Emilia Clarke as Daenerys, beautiful. She really tried to salvage what they did with her character, and I love her for it. Like, her acting was the only thing that was really giving me Mad Queen vibes during that storyline. It was just like, the writing didn't make any sense. If she hadn't been acting so well, like, it wouldn't have worked. And it didn't, but because of her, it kind of did. I'm going to go ahead and break into the palette. It is like a big boy. It's a big, like, book, kinda, and I love that because I really love the detail that went into it. Is it worth the price? Probably not, but we spent our money on it anyway because we stan a good-ish show. So you can see, here is it taken out of the sleeve. It is, like, it's got these raised up parts. It's really detailed, and you can see it's got like a little pulley. That's how you pull the palette out. Just like pushed air at me. You see that? But then you open this little magnetic part, and it has Daenerys Targaryen quote. It's got the little mirror that's flashing on me right here, and it's all over a map of Westeros, which is very beautiful, very iconic. Of course, if you are not aware, the quote is Lannister, Targaryen, Baratheon, Stark, Tyrell. They're all just spokes on a wheel. This one's on top, and that one's on top, and on it spins, crushing those on the ground. Daenerys Targaryen. Then you pull it out, and it is the Iron Throne, my birthright. Yes, it is very three-dimensional. It's got all of the house things across it. And then inside, it's got an iconic Tyrion Lannister quote, "Never forget what you are. The rest of the world will not. Wear it like armor, and it can never be used to hurt you." Very true. So, let's go ahead and pull out the palette. Oh, okay. The whole thing comes out? That's cool. Alright. I don't know, I'm so confused by that. The whole palette comes out, so it's like its own separate thing. That's kind of cool, I guess. Makes it a little easier. So it's separated into these 4 parts, like Targaryen, Lannister, Stark, and then like the Night King. There are only like 3 matte shades, and they're all like these brown colors, so it's a lot of sparkle. But I do love this color in the very corner, the Bend the Knee. It's like a purple with these like pinky metallics. And I love that they have like the Dothraki color and the Bay of Dragons, because she renamed Slaver's Bay the Bay of Dragons, which I love. I love the weirwood leaves. Yeah, weirwood leaves is this color right here. It's a very dark maroon. It's a little darker than the actual weirwood leaves, and that is probably my biggest critique of this whole palette, is that like there could have been some brighter colors, you know. There could have been like a bright blue for her dress in Karth. Maybe it's called Karth because that's where she wore it. I don't know. Just little things like that. It's a very neutral, very sparkle heavy palette. It's not nothing special. This red shade right here is probably like the most special. So that's really my only critique. So I'm going in with House Lannister from the Lannister portion of the palette and just putting that everywhere. And while I do that, I will talk about wrapping up a couple things that I liked and then going into the stuff I didn't like. So final thoughts. Acting was great. Like, Tyrion's reaction to Cersei and Jaime's death was cool. I thought that little scene where he goes down there is really weird, because if they had been crushed by the rubble, you would have expected that you couldn't get down there anymore, you know? So it is just a little weird. You kind of have to suspend your disbelief like a lot, which it's a show with dragons. So, you know, you're suspending your disbelief a little bit already. You're accepting that you're in a different world with different rules. But when the logic shifts from episode to episode, it's hard to anticipate things because you don't know what logic applies here and now. You don't know if these scorpions are gonna work really, really well and hit the same dragon 3 times in a row and go through him like a butter knife. Or maybe she's just going to avoid them super, super well and agile, like with no problems whatsoever. You really don't know what's gonna happen. And I know that is another criticism people usually rebuff with, like, well, it's Game of Thrones, like, you never know what's going to happen. That isn't true. In the books, there is a lot of foreshadowing and prophecies and prophetic dreams, a lot of characters that aren't in the show. Of course, the books are very dialogue heavy because they're books, and there's a lot of expose, a lot of stuff going on. And then I'm going to take Lannister Red and put that into the crease a little bit. But of course, the only thing that is really holding any of it together is the acting. I thought Nikolai, I don't know his last name, but the guy who played Jaime was absolutely phenomenal. Even when they butchered his character arc, he was really selling it. Like, these people were paid so much money and wasted so much of their life playing this character from like childhood, and they really just did him like that. Like, I know for everyone's benefit, like, it had to end, but it was just so poorly rushed, and it was so fun to watch. That was about it. If you just turn your brain off and like don't even pay attention to anything, it's super great. So I'll get into what I hated about season 8. The writing. You have so little dialogue, and that is so uncharacteristic for Game of Thrones. The characters are saying the same things over and over again. You have Jon Snow and Cersei Lannister just wasted. They're not saying anything. Cersei is just drinking wine in a window, and Jon is like, I don't want it. You're my queen. I never wanted it. It'll be fine. I have blind faith, even though I died before and seemed to be really skeptical up until now. Now I know nothing again. Whatever. Then Jaime's character arc just butchered. I really had faith that he was going to kill Cersei, and then he really just did me like that. I am so upset. And then of course Sansa just being one-dimensional like they always have had her in the show. They never really give her the depth that she has in the books. She is not a damsel in distress. She is manipulative. She is like a little Natasha Romanoff. She is like a spy. That is what she is. She plays the game and she learns from Cersei. Like, anyone who loves Cersei should love Sansa because she is a little Cersei. And I loved the way that she took out Littlefinger before, but again, it was so sudden and out of nowhere. Like, she seemed to genuinely be fighting with Arya, so why do we have any reason to believe that, you know, she isn't suspicious of Arya? There's just so much that doesn't make sense. The Mad Queen storyline was so rushed and didn't seem to make any sense at all. I'm gonna use my finger to put the Bay of Dragons shimmery red on my lid. Like, Bran becoming king, so fucking wild and out of nowhere. Like, he wasn't even in season 5, like, at all, because he wasn't quote-unquote interesting enough, and now he's the king because his story is the most interesting? Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? That is just so absolutely wild to me. Like, you cannot, under any circumstance, convince me that he is the most interesting character. I could write an MLA format essay on why these characters are better, or quote-unquote have a more interesting story than Bran. That's just ridiculous. Like, why would you use that logic? And then, where's Mira? Is she not, like, the leader of her house now? Where is Howland Reed? Is he still alive? And then, after Daenerys dies, the Unsullied go to Noth. Remember Butterfly Fever? Has anyone read A World of Ice and Fire? In Noth, they are like known as the Butterfly Isles, you know, very beautiful butterflies, but they carry a very terrible disease that causes your flesh to fall from your bones. So, the people born in Noth, the people native to the island, are actually immune to the disease. But invaders, if they stay too long, they will contract the disease and die from it. So now all the Unsullied are going to Noth, and they're gonna die of butterfly fever. They really were out here ignoring every single prophecy. The Azor Ahai prophecy. Who's Azor Ahai? Is it Arya? Was it always Arya? I'm confused. I really do not know. Jon's parentage didn't seem to matter at all, because he just ended up at the Wall and isn't the heir to the Iron Throne, I guess, so we're just gonna fucking forget about that. Cue the clips of Bran being all excited about telling Jon about his parentage, and then just snatching the throne from him. That is so fucking savage. Are you kidding me? And then, of course, afterwards, when we see the Dothraki just walking around as though they are not fucking blood of her blood, fucking blood riders. Remember how they're sworn by blood to, like, avenge their Khalar Khaleesi? They're just walking around like, oh, I guess she's dead now. Whatever. My god. So ridiculous. Like, it felt very rushed, obviously. The coffee cup. Like, really, no one in post saw the coffee cup or the water bottle. Are you for real? Back to the makeup. Here is our little lip and cheek stain. I'll put a little on both. I am going to use the lipstick, so we'll cover it up a little bit with another red anyway. Oh. So the instructions said to put it on your finger, and then, oh, and then rub it on. I'm taking matters into my own hands. It is very soft, but very pink, which I like. So now I'm going to like staple it in with a flat brush. Oh, okay. It's kind of shiny. It's a little dewy, but I think it's like a little sparkly too. That's cute. Honestly, I really like this. I think it's like really hydrating because it's a liquid and it's really cute. It looks very natural. It's a little shiny. I like it. Alright. Dracarys. And the packaging is super cute. It's got the little sigil of House Targaryen, three-headed dragon, all about it. So now I'm going to go into the Mother of Dragons highlighting palette, which is probably the item that I love the most out of all of these. Behind me in these little honeycomb shelves, I have my Daenerys Funko Pop set up behind me, and I want to turn this into like a tiny little Daenerys shrine because I love that character so much. I love Amelia's portrayal of her, and her struggle, her journey is just so inspiring, so I really love it. And I would love to get a set of like fake dragon eggs, like the ones she has in the show, because I'm that extra. So obviously all of the colors are named after her dragons, and they have the little egg imprints. I'm dying for these little egg imprints. I'm going to go in with Drogon, the little pink shade. I love that they made it pink because, you know, I know he's red, but the closest thing we're gonna put on our faces is we're not gonna put a red highlighter on, I don't think. So I love that they made it pink. And it really complements the cheek stain. I really like that. And I don't even want to talk about how Jon Snow, his entire character felt very neglected. Like, his interactions with Ghost were neglected for whatever cost, CGI purposes. And then they had his little reunion in the finale. That was totally, I bet they did that, like, in post. Like, I feel like that happened where he didn't say goodbye and everyone was outraged and they like went and fixed it. That felt so random. And like his parentage, like everything about that was just completely ignored. And it felt so weird, so disconnected from the story we had been watching for 7 seasons, 10 years. Oh my god, like why did this even happen? And it is true, it is canon, I guess, in real life canon, if you will, that D&D, the writers on the show, weren't willing to give up the show, basically. They weren't willing to give it up to someone else, and so they rushed out an ending. So I just put the little stain on my lips, and I mean, it's kind of just like that. It's just like a little stain. It looks like I had like a fruit punch ice pop or something like that. Doesn't really look like it had much of an effect on my lips. I would probably just focus on that little guy on the cheeks. Highlighter is beautiful. I will probably only use Drogon because the other ones are a little too dark. I mean, Viserion is gold. It's cute. Rhaegal is this little dark brown one here. Viserion is the gold. I feel like they could have done Rhaegal like the green. They could have done something crazy. So boring, you know? Kind of fits the season, if I'm being honest. So, specifically, I would talk about the ending. What I liked about the finale, I loved Sansa. I have been Sansa's biggest fan. Season 1, I love her. I sympathize with her. She is probably emotionally the strongest person on the show. Um, she deserves to be Queen of the North. I did not like how they did it. It felt very weird, very rushed, very disconnected, like everything else. But again, I loved the hair reference because, you know, her hair reflects who she learning from. It was Cersei, then it was Marjorie, then it was, I think, Daenerys and sort of her mother, but then it was just down. It was just her. Like, she's done learning from people. She is the teacher. Jon Beyond the Wall, I think that's where he belongs. I love Drogon's like mysterious ending. I thought that was very Game of Thrones. I didn't like that they just left it and didn't follow up with it. I heard that there was supposed to be like a post-credits scene following up with that, but I don't know how true that is. So now I'm going in with the eye pencil. It's the glittery holographic. Winterfell Snow is the name. It very much retains its like holographicness when you put it on, so I very much like that. Just went ahead and put Lannister Red under my eyes, going for a little bit of a like grunge Daenerys look with all the Daenerys themed products. What I disliked about the finale while I'm doing my eyebrows with the Tarte Architect, Brow Architect, I believe it's called. Daenerys not having any last words was really disappointing. Just like, you know, everything else. I really thought while her blood was like dripping out, it would be very Game of Thrones, very characteristic of them to have her say some very meaningful last words, and she didn't say anything. She just bled out her mouth and nose. Very strange and unceremonious. I really didn't like Jon being so dishonorable, so out of character, with so little provocation. It was so, again, just weird and disconnected. It's like when Arya abandons her lifelong goal of killing the queen at the last second because Daenerys got there first. What? Like, I'm sorry. What fairy tale ending is this? Like, she should have died killing Cersei. That is how it should have happened. I literally thought that she was going to run into Jaime on the way, take his face, and then kill Cersei. And that would have been so much more interesting than what they actually did. It's so fucking crazy. And that leads into like another criticism of mine, Arya's weird plot armor. Like, she just keeps existing throughout all of the destruction of King's Landing. Like, while Daenerys is burning the city for no reason, instead of just going after Daenerys, or fucking Daenerys, instead of just going after Cersei, like, that's your enemy, why are you burning random people in the streets? Doesn't make any sense. And then Bran just accepting the throne, like he didn't deny it this whole time. Like, I can't be lord of anything now. I'm the three-eyed raven. Wait, king? You want me to be king? Oh, well, that's all you had to say. I'll be king. Overall, the ending of season 8, the finale, was just really boring. It was very anticlimactic. It kind of ignored a bunch of key plot points. It left a lot of loose ends, and it was just very cheesy. It was so cringeworthy, honestly. I was cringing the entire time. When Sam whipped out that book, it was literally the meme where everyone was saying, like, Ned and Kat wake up from a dream, and, like, that was the Game of Thrones. It was literally the Princess Bride, like, them telling the story. I really didn't like it. Like, after they killed Daenerys in the first, like, 30-40 minutes, it was already boring. It was like, okay, the most interesting thing has already happened. Who cares? Even when they were deciding Jon Snow's fate, I was just like, I don't really care what happens to him because I know it's going to be weird and out of character and strange overall. So I'm just not totally worried about it, I guess. Tyrion's plot armor, again, he was just walking through the rubble. Daenerys didn't kill him immediately. Alright, we'll just Mad Queen her until it's convenient for us, apparently. It was just really boring. It was a really weird, null conclusion to a 10-year franchise. You know? They just could have done a lot with it, and they didn't do anything. With that being said, I am so excited for the next book. I believe it's the sixth book in the series. I'm a fake fan. No, I'm just kidding. I have read the books, but I read them online, so I kind of just went like one after another. I didn't really pay attention to the change in books. I think this one coming out is the 5th book in the series, Winds of Winter. I'm very excited about Euron Greyjoy's storyline because in the show they definitely made him like a cheap Jack Sparrow ripoff. Again, very anticlimactic, very watered down, one-dimensional, kind of like the Dornish plot. Again, I'm very excited to see where Arianne and the Sword of the Morning go. Same with Varys and his plot to crown the secret prince Aegon Targaryen, the son of Elia Martell and Rhaegar Targaryen, Rhaegar's first wife. Super interesting. I'm really excited to see what they do with Jon Snow's parentage in the books, because in the show it was very weird, didn't really go anywhere, kind of just fueled his conflict with Daenerys and then didn't really go anywhere else. And Cersei, oh my god, the Valonqar prophecy was probably the thing I was most excited for in the whole series, and they ruined it. Jaime just goes back and dies in her arms, and I guess people were saying that like when he like has his hands like around her neck, like that's the Valonqar prophecy. That doesn't make any sense. Oh my god, like someone has to kill her. Are you kidding me? After everything she's done, we're really just gonna let her die like she's the victim? So unceremonious. For a glimmer of hope in the darkness, look forward to the Winds of Winter. Have faith in the amazing writer that is George R.R. Martin. He is so he's a genius. Like, how do you put together a whole fictional universe like that? Like, the whole lore of Westeros, like a world of ice and fire, highly recommend. I want to just go out and buy all the books for myself and reread them and just cry. Another glimmer of hope, a bunch of YouTube channels that I have fallen prey to about A Song of Ice and Fire. Ideas of Ice and Fire. It's really cool, has some cool theory videos. Invicta, I think? I can't remember. improved battle plans videos. They did one for the Battle of Winterfell, they did one for, I guess, Invasion of King's Landing, and then another one for the actual Battle of King's Landing, which was super, like, every time he bases it off of historical fact, which of course George R.R. Martin also does. The show is very uncharacteristic of Game of Thrones, doesn't really speak for George R.R. Martin, I don't think. His battles probably would have been better constructed, but, you know, TV, movie magic, it is what it is. So the cherry on top, I'm putting on the Game of Thrones lipstick in the shade Daenerys Targaryen. It has, of course, her sigil all over it. Oh, it's so pretty. Look at that. Putting Daenerys Targaryen on Daenerys Targaryen. This is what I've been waiting for. Yeah, get the braids in there. So it is sort of sparkly. It's a very deep red, a blood red, like when she's eating the heart of a horse. It's a little reflective. That's very cute. And then closing thoughts on the collection. I think overall it was very cute, but it was very tame. I think they could have done a lot more. They could have made the components a little bit more bedazzled, a little cuter. Like, there are makeup brushes with the house sigils on the brushes. You could have had the sigils on the components. You could have had a little three-headed dragon on this one. I really want to go out and get the lipstick in Sansa Stark because I saw a review of this collection and the color just spoke to me. I didn't see it in store because I bought the stuff in store at Ulta, and they didn't have it in stock when I went, so I don't have Sansa Stark's lipstick, but I am probably going to go back and get it while I can. This is limited edition, so if you plan on getting it, you should probably get it soon. Have fun waiting for the next book. If you have any fun theories or thoughts on the series, on the show, on the books, let me know in the comments down below. I am planning on doing a couple of covers, Jenny of Oldstones and the Reigns of Castamere, so look out for that. I'm also going to do a fun little, maybe a lingerie shoot as Daenerys Targaryen. Definitely a cosplay shoot because I have a cosplay of her on Dragonstone coming. The wig is braided like her hair when she sails to Dragonstone. I think that is my favorite image of her just coming back to her home. She was born on Dragonstone. Dragonstone was the holdfast for House Targaryen before they moved to King's Landing. And I think once they moved to King's Landing, it was really the downfall of their house. They should have moved the capital to Dragonstone, I think, because that is where the volcano is, where the dragons thrive, metaphorically and literally. It is where the dragons thrive. And I really did like this collection. I don't think it is, like, totally worth the money. The lipstick is super cute, the palette blends really well. Everything is really pretty, like, it looks great. And I love it, and I'm probably going to use it a lot. But it was a little pricey, and it's a little lackluster. I would have felt a little bit better about the price if it was a little bit more novelty, a little bit more, like, showy. My favorite part is probably the highlight palette with the little dragon egg impressions. Quality-wise, I think the lipstick is my favorite. It's very creamy, very reflective. I usually don't like red lipstick on myself, but I really like this one. That is how I feel, and that is what I have going on. So subscribe if you want to see more from me. And my name is Marcella Flowers. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.